Your kidneys never truly stop working, and the hours you spend asleep are the hours they work in their own quiet, steady way. Most people have no idea this is happening. From about 10 o'clock at night onward, the two organs that filter your blood, that decide how much fluid stays in your body, that balance the minerals keeping your heart steady and your muscles calm, keep right on filtering while the rest of you sleeps. And what you put into your body in that final hour before bed either eases their load or hands them a pile of work they simply cannot finish before morning arrives. After the age of 60, this matters far more than you think. Right now, roughly 1 in 7 adults is walking around with kidneys that are quietly losing ground, and most of them feel perfectly fine. That is the cruel part. Struggling kidneys do not hurt. There are almost no warning signals to tell you that something is wrong. By the time it finally shows up on a routine blood test, the decline has been quietly building for years, sometimes decades, in complete silence. I am Dr. William Lee, and I have spent years watching this quiet problem turn into a serious one. So tonight, I am going to give you the exact fruits to eat in the evening that actually help your kidneys do their filtering work more gently while you sleep. Some of them you will absolutely expect. A few of them are going to genuinely surprise you, and one of them is a fruit that most people over the age of 60 have been specifically told to stay away from. And at the very end of this, I will hand you a simple bedtime recipe that puts the best of all of them together into one single glass that you can make in 2 minutes. But before I tell you about the first fruit, I want to say something directly to the person watching this right now who is quietly worried that they have left it too late. You have not left it too late. I have watched people well into their 70s steady their kidney numbers and hold them there for years, because the kidneys, when you stop overloading them and start giving them what they actually need, are remarkably good at protecting whatever function remains. That is the whole reason I do this work. I want you living longer, stronger, and healthier, well past the age that everyone around you told you to slow down and give up. So I took everything I tell my own patients, the food, the timing, and the small daily habits that actually move the needle, and I put all of it into one simple plan. That plan has already helped thousands of people over the age of 60 get their energy back and get their numbers back where they belong. If you want it, the link is sitting right there on your screen, waiting for you whenever you feel ready for it. Now, let us talk about your kidneys. Here is what almost nobody bothers to explain to you inside a rushed 12-minute office visit. Your kidneys are two of the hardest working organs in your entire body, and the remarkable thing is that they never clock out. Every single minute they filter your blood, pulling out the waste your cells produce, balancing your sodium, your potassium, and your fluid, and deciding exactly what leaves your body and what stays. While you are asleep, they keep right on doing this, and the choices you made in that last hour before bed shape how hard that overnight shift becomes. This stretch of time is your body's deep repair window. It is the quiet period when your blood pressure is meant to dip, your filtering slows to a gentle pace, and your kidneys get a chance to work without being flooded. The real trouble comes from what we hand them right before that window even opens. When the last food of your day is a bag of salty chips, a fistful of processed crackers, or a tall glass of sugary juice, you flood the system with a wave of sodium, sugar, and phosphorus at the exact moment your kidneys were finally about to settle into an easier rhythm. So instead of resting into that gentle overnight pace, they spend the entire night straining to clear the excess. Do that night after night for years on end, and the tiny filtering units inside the kidney, the ones called nephrons, begin to wear down. And here is the hard truth about those units. You are born with all you will ever have, and once they are gone, they do not grow back. Left completely alone, that constant strain raises the pressure inside the kidney's delicate filters, and pressure, given enough time, slowly thickens and scars them. And here is the part that almost nobody ever tells you, the part about timing. It is not only what you eat that matters, it is when you eat it. Kidney decline almost never announces its own arrival. It moves through its stages very quietly. First, the filters work a little harder than they should. Then the pressure begins to climb, often silently, showing up as a touch of protein, leaking into your urine long before you feel a thing. Then, over the course of years, that quiet strain slowly lays down scar tissue, and once that scarring sets in, it does not reverse. The window where you can still protect what you have is the early window, and most people are sitting right in the middle of it at this very moment without having any idea. The evening is your daily chance to actually use that window instead of wasting it entirely. Every single fruit I am about to give you does one of three specific jobs during that overnight window. It either delivers antioxidants that mop up the damage caused by the constant filtering, and those are compounds that neutralize the rust-like stress happening inside your cells, or it carries water and gentle compounds that support healthy blood flow through the kidney without demanding too much, or it brings plant compounds that actually calm the inflammation and the blood pressure that quietly grind those filters down. And every one of them is chosen to be gentle on the kidneys, low enough in the minerals that overwhelm a struggling kidney, so you can safely eat it at night. Let me show you the very first one. The first fruit is the apple, and it honestly earns its place in the bedtime slot more than almost anything else on this entire list. Most people think of the apple as just an ordinary, everyday fruit. That is exactly why they overlook it. But for your kidneys, the apple is quietly one of the best choices you can make. It is naturally low in potassium and low in sodium, which is precisely what a working kidney wants at night, because those two minerals are the ones that pile up and strain the filters when the kidneys start to slow. The apple is also rich in a soluble fiber called pectin, and that pectin helps steady your blood sugar and pull down the low-grade inflammation that damages the tiny vessels inside the kidney over time. On top of that, the skin of an apple carries quercetin, a plant antioxidant that has been shown in research to protect kidney tissue from oxidative stress, that slow internal rusting I keep coming back to. To use it, eat one medium apple about an hour or two before bed, skin and all, because the skin holds most of the fiber and the quercetin. A slightly tart apple like a Granny Smith carries even less sugar. Slice it and add a little real cinnamon if you want it to feel like a treat. Number 2 is blueberries, and this is the one with some of the most encouraging evidence for the kidneys and the vessels that feed them. What makes a blueberry that deep, rich blue is a pigment called anthocyanin. That single pigment is one of the most powerful protective compounds we currently know of anywhere in food. Your kidneys are, at their heart, a dense tangle of tiny blood vessels, and anything that keeps those vessels healthy and calm protects your filtering for years to come. The anthocyanins in blueberries do two things at exactly the same time. They cool inflammation, and they help keep the lining of your blood vessels flexible and relaxed, which eases the pressure running through the kidney. If you skip this one, because berries feel a little too much like a treat, you are walking straight past one of the cheapest pieces of kidney insurance in the entire grocery store. Frozen works just as well as fresh does here, and frozen berries are often picked riper, which means the pigment content is even higher. Here is how to use them at night. A small handful, about half a cup, on their own, or stirred into a little plain yogurt. Keep the portion modest and low in sugar. Half a cup gives your kidneys the pigment they need, without much sugar at all. Third on the list is one that surprises almost everyone, and that is the humble cranberry. Most people only think of cranberries at holiday dinners or when someone has an infection, and they never once consider them a bedtime fruit. That is a missed opportunity. Cranberries carry a special group of compounds called proanthocyanidins, which make it harder for certain bacteria to cling to the walls of your urinary tract. For anyone over 60, urinary infections are far more than a nuisance, because when they climb upward, they can reach the kidneys themselves and do real, lasting harm. A fruit that quietly helps keep that tract clear is protecting the whole system upstream. Cranberries are also loaded with antioxidants that fight the oxidative stress your kidneys face day and night. The one warning here is simple: skip the sweetened cranberry cocktails, which are mostly sugar. Use a small handful of fresh or unsweetened dried cranberries, or a small splash of pure unsweetened cranberry juice cut with water, about half a cup in the evening. The tartness feels like a treat, which keeps you far away from the salty, sugary snacks that hurt your kidneys at night. So far, every fruit has done the same quiet work, mopping up the damage and easing the load, and we are only 3 of them in. The next 5 are where things get truly interesting, including the one that your doctor may have already told you to avoid entirely. Quick favor before I go on. If this is the very first time anyone has actually explained to you why your kidneys need help specifically at night, instead of just telling you to eat better, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. And if someone in your family is fighting high blood pressure or their blood sugar, please send it along to them, because quiet kidney trouble very often sits underneath both of those problems. So, number 4 is red grapes, and the color is genuinely the whole point of it. The skin of a red or purple grape is absolutely loaded with resveratrol, a plant compound that has become one of the most heavily studied molecules in all of aging research. Resveratrol helps to protect the delicate lining of the tiny blood vessels inside the kidney, and it calms the inflammation and the oxidative stress that slowly wear those filters down over the years. Red grapes are also mostly water, which supports gentle, healthy filtering, and they are lower in the trouble minerals than many other fruits. The green grape does not carry anywhere near as much of this, so reach specifically for the red and purple ones. Now, a word of caution to keep this completely honest. Grapes are noticeably sweeter than the other fruits we have covered so far, so portion is everything here. This is not a fruit to eat by the bowlful at night. About 10 to 15 red grapes is the right evening dose. Eat them whole, skin and all, because the resveratrol lives right there in the skin. A small trick that I personally like is to freeze them, because frozen grapes take much longer to eat and feel like a real dessert, which keeps you from reaching for actual ice cream instead. Number 5 is the strawberry, and it works on your kidneys through a couple of gentle back doors that most people never think about at all. Strawberries are surprisingly low in potassium compared to many other fruits, which makes them a friendly choice for kidneys that are starting to slow down and struggle to clear that mineral. They are also rich in vitamin C and in antioxidants called elagitannins, which help quiet the inflammation that damages the tiny filtering units over time. And strawberries carry a good amount of water and fiber, so they support steady filtering without spiking your blood sugar. And steady blood sugar matters enormously here, because high sugar is one of the leading drivers of kidney decline in the first place. There is even more to it. That same fiber helps feed a healthy gut, and a calmer gut sends fewer inflammatory signals traveling through the body to the kidneys. Use about half a cup to a full cup of fresh sliced strawberries in the evening, on their own or with a spoon of plain yogurt. If you want it to feel like a treat, a small shake of cinnamon on top works beautifully. Eat them an hour or 2 before bed, so everything has time to settle. Number 6 is the pear, and almost nobody thinks to reach for it at night, mostly because it lives in the shadow of the apple and gets overlooked entirely. It is genuinely worth reaching for. The pear is one of the most kidney-friendly fruits there is, because it is low in potassium, low in sodium, and low in phosphorus, the 3 minerals that a struggling kidney has the hardest time clearing. For a fruit that tastes this sweet and gentle, that is a rare and valuable combination. The pear is also rich in soluble fiber, which steadies your blood sugar overnight and eases the strain that high sugar puts on your filters. And it carries a good dose of water, which supports gentle, healthy filtering without ever overwhelming the system. On top of that, pears bring their own antioxidants that help defend the kidney tissue against the slow oxidative wear of constant filtering. A word on exactly what to eat, because this one trips people up. Choose a ripe, fresh pear rather than the canned ones swimming in heavy syrup, which strip out the fiber and load it with sugar. In the evening, 1 medium pear is a perfect amount. Eat it with the skin on for the extra fiber. That soft, sweet flesh makes it feel like a real dessert, which is exactly the point, because it keeps you far away from the things that actually strain your kidneys at night. Number 7 is the cherry, and this is the one that almost nobody ever thinks to eat for their kidneys. Cherries carry a beautiful load of anthocyanins, the very same family of protective pigments that make blueberries so valuable, and they bring their own gentle anti-inflammatory power on top. For your kidneys, that inflammation calming effect matters enormously, because much of the slow damage that grinds down the filters over the years is driven by low-grade, smoldering inflammation. Tart cherries in particular have been studied for their ability to lower inflammatory markers and to ease the kind of oxidative stress that harms delicate tissue. Cherries also carry a small, natural amount of melatonin, which gently supports better sleep. And that matters here too, because your blood pressure is meant to dip while you sleep deeply, and that overnight dip is one of the most protective things there is for your kidneys. A struggling, restless night keeps your pressure high and your kidneys under strain. Use about half a cup to a cup of fresh cherries in the evening, or a small handful of unsweetened dried ones. If fresh or out of season, frozen work just as well and keep beautifully in the freezer. Number 8 is the surprise that I promised you, and it is the orange, along with its close cousin, the grapefruit. These are the fruits that a lot of people over the age of 60 have been specifically told to be careful with. Let me explain both sides of this carefully, because it is important. Oranges are wonderful for your heart and packed with vitamin C and antioxidants that support healthy vessels. And that is exactly the problem for some kidneys, because oranges and grapefruit are very high in potassium, and when your kidneys start to slow down, they lose the ability to clear extra potassium from your blood. Potassium that climbs too high is genuinely dangerous, because it affects the rhythm of your heart. For a person with early, mild changes and normal potassium, a small orange in the evening can be a lovely, gentle source of antioxidants. But for someone whose kidney numbers have slipped further, it can quietly become a real risk. This is the one fruit on this whole list where I have to be completely direct with you. If you have been told your kidney function is reduced, or if you take blood pressure medications that raise potassium, do not add oranges or grapefruit until you have asked your doctor whether your potassium level makes it safe. For many people in the early stage, it is completely fine. For some people, it is not, and only your own lab numbers can truly answer that question. Before I give you the bonus recipe, I need to draw a clear line, exactly the way I would inside my own office. These fruits support kidneys that are healthy or in the early, mild stages of strain. They are not a treatment for kidneys that are already in real trouble. If you notice swelling in your legs, your ankles, or around your eyes, foamy or bloody urine, a sharp drop in how much you are passing, or a deep, unshakable fatigue with nausea, those are not fruit problems. Those are see someone promptly problems. And if you already carry a diagnosis of chronic kidney disease, or you are on any potassium restriction, fold these fruits in only with your doctor's blessing, and always check your potassium-heavy ones like the orange first. Food is the foundation. It is not the whole house. Let me tell you about someone I will call Patricia. She was 64, recently retired, and she came in feeling fine, just tired in a way she could not seem to shake. Her blood work told a very different story. Her filtering number, the one we call the GFR, had slipped, and there was a trace of protein leaking into her urine. She was completely stunned. She barely thought about her kidneys at all, and she had always assumed that kidney trouble was something that happened suddenly and painfully. We did not start with a prescription. We started with her evenings. Patricia had a habit of winding down with a bowl of salty chips or a couple of cookies most nights, right before bed, right as her kidneys were meant to be settling into their gentle overnight pace. We swapped that out. Some nights it was an apple with cinnamon and a few blueberries. Other nights a pear or a small bowl of strawberries and cherries. We kept the oranges to the occasional morning after her doctor confirmed her potassium was still safe, and she added a 10-minute walk after dinner and drank a glass of water instead of that late soda. 3 months later, her filtering number had held steady. The protein had dropped, and the heavy tiredness had lifted. Her kidneys were doing exactly what kidneys do when you finally stop overloading them. None of this was a miracle. It was simply her giving those two hard-working organs an easier night. Now, the bonus I promised you, the simple bedtime recipe that puts the best of all these into one single glass. I call it the Bedtime Kidney Tonic, and it takes just 2 minutes. Into a blender, put half of one medium apple, cored, skin left on. Add a small handful of blueberries, about a quarter cup. Add a few fresh or frozen cherries, pitted, for those calming anthocyanins. Pour in about half a cup of plain, unsweetened yogurt, or simply water if you prefer it lighter, and a splash more water to loosen it all up. Finish with a small shake of real cinnamon. Blend it until smooth, and that is it. It is low in sodium, gentle on potassium, low in sugar, and rich in the exact antioxidants and fiber your kidneys want overnight. And it gives you something to reach for at night that is finally working for your kidneys instead of against them. Drink it about an hour before bed in place of the salty or sweet snack that used to strain your whole night. Let me give you a couple of easy variations so that you do not get bored of it, because the one you actually keep doing is the one that truly works. On a night when you want it to feel more like a dessert, drop in a few red grapes or a small handful of strawberries before you blend. If your stomach is sensitive at night, skip the yogurt and just use plain water with a few of the blueberries and the apple. And honestly, you do not even have to blend anything at all. A small bowl of sliced pear and blueberries with a spoon of plain yogurt does most of the very same work. The tool here is not the blender. The tool is the swap, trading that late-night salt or starch for the fruit. Notice that I left the orange and the grapefruit out of the blended recipe on purpose, because of the potassium issue we covered. Keep those separate, eaten entirely on their own, and only if your doctor has confirmed your potassium level makes it safe. So here is exactly what to do tonight, in 5 simple steps. 1. Close your kitchen earlier. Try to make the last food of your night one of these gentle fruits, instead of something salty or sweet, so your kidneys settle into their quiet overnight pace without a flood to clear. 2. Pick one fruit from tonight's list that is already sitting in your house right now and eat a small portion of it about an hour before bed. 3. If you want the full effect, make the bedtime kidney tonic. Apple, blueberries, a few cherries, plain yogurt, and a shake of cinnamon. 4. Add a 10-minute walk after dinner and swap that late-night soda for a glass of water, because gentle movement and steady hydration ease the pressure running through your kidneys. 5. If you have been told your kidney function is reduced or you take blood pressure medication, write down one single question for your doctor this week. Is my potassium level safe for high potassium fruits like oranges? That one question protects you and clears up the confusion around the whole citrus family. Now, eating the right fruit at night is only half of the picture. The other half is what you do first thing in the morning, because there are a few ordinary morning habits, things you might be doing every single day with the very best of intentions, that quietly strain your kidneys and undo all the good work you did overnight. In my next video, I will walk you through the exact morning routine that protects your kidneys and the one common breakfast mistake that puts your filters right back under the strain you do not want.